This is a no-spoiler movie review for Death Whisperer 2, also known as T-2. Death Whisperer 1 came out in 2023 and smashed the box office as Thai #1 supernatural horror movie. Death Whisperer 2 smashed it even harder. It doubled the amount on the opening weekend. Now let's see if Death Whisperer 2 is really worth the money for you to spend at the cinema. Well, the short answer is fuck yeah. So obviously Death Whisperer 2 is a sequel to Death Whisperer 1, and the bigger question is, do you need to watch Death Whisperer 1 to enjoy Death Whisperer 2? My answer is yes. So whatever happens in part 1 creates the motivation for the lead character, Nadek Kugimiya, who plays the role of Yem, which is the good-looking protagonist, to do what he does in part 2, and also why the things happen, like the... If you didn't watch part 1, part 2 wouldn't make much sense to you. So I do encourage you guys to catch part 1 again. However, if you can't get part 1, part 2 as a standalone is still a fun watch as it is. Yem's character in Death Whisperer 2 kind of reminds me of two very distinct characters in supernatural movie history, or supernatural action movie history, which is Brendan Fraser from The Mummy and Bruce Campbell from Army of Darkness.
This is my boomstick!
So Death Whisperer 2 gave me that sort of vibe. It's not really a supernatural movie in the horror ghostly sense, but it's definitely an action movie with supernatural. And it's not even trying to pretend to be otherwise. In fact, in the opening scene, in the very first minute, you see Ayam beating up a ghost. So that sets the premise for you. And why is he beating up a ghost? Once again, if you did not watch part 1, part 2 will not make sense to you. So let me dive down into this whole movie review by giving you a little bit of part 1. So in case you have not watched it, this is the cliff notes. A family of 8, 1972-1973 in Thailand was haunted by an evil spirit. So the 3 daughters was walking back from the amusement park, saw a very strange witch-like lady under a tree, and she was cackling like the typical witch. And then one of the daughters got possessed. Enters Ayam coming back from service, good-looking, macho, rolled-up sleeve, full of alphaness, comes back and felt something was wrong. And then as the whole story progresses, we see that the evil is able to control the minds of the living. The youngest daughter eventually got possessed. The whole family tries to find help. Okay, now let's dive in straight to Death Whisperer 2. We have Ayam's character, which is very much like Constantine, going around beating up demons and sending them to the depths of hell. Except Ayam now is on a vengeance streak because his sister, here's a spoiler for part 1, died. So he's going around beating things up, trying to find the evil that was responsible for this. My favorite scene is the entire middle chunk of the movie where they actually go into the forest to find an ancient undead being that holds the secret to the other ancient being. That entire scene was extremely interesting because they have a lot of Thai supernatural lore in it. You have interesting characters. Do keep a lookout for some familiar faces that you might find cameoing in Death Whisperer 2 that were also acting in other supernatural Thai horror movies. Of course, at the very last part, enter stage right, our hero who beats the shit out of the ancient evil, and this time, at least what we see as audience, managed to vanquish the ancient evil once and for all. So the next question is, what is going to happen to T-3? Would there be a T-3? But would the family be haunted again? Yet again in part 3? Now I really hope that doesn't happen because it becomes a bit stale, like Taken 1, Taken 2, Taken 3. Like, how many freaking times can your family be taken? Like, you must be the most unlucky family on earth. So this is my no spoiler Death Whisperer 2 review, and if I were to rate it upon 10, I would give it a 9. So that's all from me. My name is Eugene Tay, signing out. Please do catch Death Whisperer 2 that is out in cinemas today, the 21st of November.